I want to take another look at how LSU and UConn match up. Yes, I took a few shots at LSU in my last video for their weak non-conference schedule and blamed them for UConn and LSU not meeting in the Grand Cayman Classic. But in reality, I think UConn might consider themselves lucky that they don't have to play LSU, as LSU might be UConn's worst nightmare. Now first, before we get started, if you like this content, then please consider subscribing to the channel and give the video a like. It really helps the channel grow. Now let's get into this. If LSU and UConn happen to meet up in the NCAA tournament, and please let this happen, I am not sure UConn would be happy about it, as LSU's strength is turning into UConn's weakness. LSU is a monster up front with Angel Reese and Aneesah Morrow set to destroy teams on the boards. As well, their depth is ridiculous, as they have Samaya Smith and incoming freshman Aaliyah Del Rosario. When I did the LSU versus UConn matchup video 3 months ago, I thought UConn would be able to hold up enough up front against LSU. It was clear that UConn would not be as strong up front, as they lost Dorka to the WNBA Lynx, but seemingly UConn thought they had enough to cover this. Remember when Lauren Gustin entered the portal? Well, presumably nobody had interest in her, including UConn, despite her leading the country with 16.7 rebounds a game, as she ultimately had to return to BYU. At the time, UConn must have thought they were covered up front with Aaliyah Edwards, Aubrey Griffin, and Caroline Deschamps. As well, it appears UConn was optimistic about what El Alfie and Ice Brady would contribute in the upcoming season, as they had started to practice with the UConn team at the end of the 23 season. In addition, they had potential breakthrough players in Amari Berry and Ananya Patterson. DeBerry had not done much in her past 2 years at UConn, but you can understand how they're holding out hope for her, as if she ever puts it together, my God, what a player she might be. Patterson was up and down her freshman year, but as well, she is a physical talent, and the hope was maybe it would all click as a sophomore. But UConn has just returned from Europe, and I wonder if UConn might be regretting their decision not to pursue Gustin harder when she was in the portal, as they are quickly losing depth up front that might leave them very exposed. The season has not even started, and they have lost one, if not two, front court players already, as El Alfie's done following her Achilles rupture and the Under-19 World Championship. But following the tour of Europe, UConn cannot feel real confident regarding Caroline Deschamps playing this season, as she was unable to finish 2 games on the tour after taking shots to her head. In the first game on the European tour, she reportedly took a ball to the head. We don't know what happened, as UConn edited the video. She returned in another game on tour, but left after seemingly getting tangled with another player. UConn has not issued any statements, but you would think they would need to redshirt her or see if she's able to restart in 24-25. Admittedly, this is reckless speculation on my part. I hope that I'm wrong, and I'm happy to be wrong. So let's just say, for instance, let's just say that she is playing and I am an overreactor. But if you're UConn, you cannot feel confident on what she might contribute, as really she's just a flying elbow away from being out, basically. If Deschamps is out, then I think incoming freshman Cadence Samuels might get more minutes. She's a good prospect. She's long, 6'1" or 2, with a good outside shot with 3-point range, but she has a loose handle with the ball and looks like she can be pushed around. She's just really good potential, but I'm not sure she'll be able to contribute much her freshman year. As well, the hope that Patterson and DeBerry would blossom this year is dampened a bit, as both are coming off injuries, with DeBerry February, only appearing in one game during the European Tour, but this is actually promising considering that she had back surgery for a herniated disc early in the offseason. As well, Patterson is still recovering from her knee surgery, so she did not play on the European Tour. UConn says that she will play when the season starts, but they just haven't been real clear on what the nature of her knee injury is. So I think your hopes for them would be tempered a bit. So really in the front court, you're looking at Edwards, Aubrey Griffin, and Ice Brady as your true bigs. Now on the Europe Tour, Brady looked like a freshman, and considering that she's coming off knee surgery from last year, it's not really fair to start poking holes in her game. You would expect that she would be a solid contributor in the upcoming season. But the scary thought for UConn is if any of these three players goes down, then they are really exposed for lack of bigs. And not to mention, Aubrey Griffin looked good on the European Tour, but you've got to remember she returned last year from successful back surgery. And that, I mean, it looks good at this stage, but backs, you just never know with backs. But anyway, I think UConn understands this issue, hence why they are working on pressing teams and preaching how they're going to pressure teams. Essentially, utilizing their backcourt depth with now a healthy Bueckers, Mule, and Fudd, and incoming freshman KK Arnold and Caitlin Shade. They are hoping to make other teams suffer the fate that they had last season when Ohio State killed them with the press. But in reality, you might be able to change the pace a bit with the press and catch some teams off guard for a while, but you can't count on it, as Ohio State found out in the next round when they got sliced and diced by Amore of Virginia Tech. And really that is the problem for UConn if they face LSU. Their best chance is likely going small and playing Fudd at small forward and having a combo of maybe Paige Bueckers and Mule in the backcourt, or Bueckers and KK Arnold in the backcourt, just to give more offensive firepower. But really, UConn does not have a plan B, where LSU is like Plastic Man, as they have options galore. Option one would be Reese and Morrow crushing UConn on the boards, with Reese at the 5 and Smith at the 4 and Morrow at the 3. With this, you could see them putting Reese at the high post and trying to get Edwards in foul trouble. If LSU wants to go real big, then they can go Del Rosario at 5, Reese at power forward, and Morrow at the 3. As well, we have not even mentioned their prize incoming freshman Michaela Williams, who can swing between guard and forward. So just so many options as well. They are no slouch in the backcourt, which is loaded as well, seemingly to limit the impact of any potential press UConn might throw on, as they have Poa, HVL, Poole, and Flau'jae. Now with all this talent, I think he would go out playing all comers, but as we've mentioned in the previous video, LSU's strategy is to go weak non-conference schedule to build chemistry for conference play. Now, in truth, this can be argued either way and really depends on the outcome of the tournament. If LSU gets upset, then critics like me will come out and say they paid the price for their soft schedule and weren't tournament tough. However, if they win, then Mulkey is a genius, and she gets to mock the critics like me and say they knew what the hell they were doing, which is probably the case. The same thing for UConn. If they get beat up again and lose a number of players, then it will be argued that Geno runs his players too hard in practice and their non-conference schedule is too tough, exposing them to injuries. If they win, then they were a tough tournament team. It's really a play the results type game, to be honest. Obviously, my hope is that these two teams meet up. However, I think they had a better chance of that happening at the Cayman Classic tournament, obviously, as there would have been only 8 teams if they would have played a tournament versus the NCAA tournament. Between the two teams, I have more concerns about UConn going to the championship game in the NCAA tournament, as I wonder if they have a window problem, or I guess it'd be more a star alignment problem. Last year, the injury bug crushed their backcourt, with Bueckers going out and Fudd being injured. Now, with UConn's backcourt being healthy and deep, the front court is looking shaky. So I wonder if it's just going to be one of those star-crossed teams that it's just always doomed through injuries and bad luck. Anyway, I want your thoughts. Who do you have? LSU and UConn matchup? Who do you have? And just overall, what are your thoughts? Do you think they will both make it to the championship game, or do you have somebody else being there instead? Your thoughts and poison, as always, are welcome. Thanks a lot for watching. See you next time.